Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We're taking a look here at Terra Classic, helping you understand the best practice and the big picture here for this coin. And when we talked yesterday, of course, it was just pretty straightforward. The price action went up based on the burn for Binance, right? So Binance announced tax burn and the hype went up for a very short amount of time. And when I say short amount of time, it's pretty much 2 hours gave us like a significant percentage. So what, just say these 2 hour candlesticks, 62% increase in 2 hours. That's significant. So the pullback makes sense. But what's nice, and this is the cool thing about what typically happens, is that previous resistance level at 28,000 is going to be working as a support level. So the likelihood of the price action holding here is higher. It's not a guarantee. Again, you got to keep in mind support and resistance levels, they're tentative at best, but they have a probability of statistics and a higher likelihood of holding based on it being broken through and then now consolidating above. All right. So I'm willing to speculate that this should be the immediate bottom and we should see a bounce from here. How soon will that take? Or will that take place? It's hard to say, right? We don't know. Nobody has a crystal ball. Actually, probably a lot of people do, but they don't use them effectively, or there's no such thing. I don't know. Whatever you want to say there. Bottom line is Terra Classic is doing what it should do right now, and that is consolidating at support after a break through that previous resistance level. Okay, so that's a good thing. So to preface here as well, if you are new to the channel, because we get a lot of new members, I'd like to kind of let you know that I'm not a financial advisor. I've just been trading for over 17 years, and I truly do love my job. So this is something I do every single day for a living, and I help my community members become better traders, okay? So simply put, I have a Discord community where we all learn and grow together. I have trade signals. I mean, last night we hit 57% and 44% for Bitcoin and Ethereum for just some really easy profits, right? And I say easy because, again, it depends on how, of course, you structure the trades. So I send out signals for every trade that I take, and if you want to kind of follow along, you can absolutely have that opportunity. CryptoCash.tech is the website, link in the description below. The website looks like this. All right, very last two, I would recommend using BitGet for all of your trading needs because they allow for a good, healthy transfer bonus as long as you register through the link down below before November 30th. All right, so again, very, very good exchange. Better, in my opinion, than ByBit and KuCoin. All right, so here's where we're at for Terra Classic. Obviously, we saw the nice green candle yesterday, followed by a red today. That makes sense. It could still recover, and I think it likely will. We should be right at the bottom. But again, 80% in one day will constitute some type of retracement. We've seen this happen before as well, where the price action shoots up pretty healthily, and then, of course, the next day is typically red. That makes sense. It's actually good, and it's very healthy. All right, so we want that to happen. We also see here, breaking through the 50 on the RSI, coming down to potentially bounce off that level. So this is phenomenal. When you see the price action do this and come down to bounce, the likelihood of the price action going up is higher than it is to continue going lower. Once again, 50 on the RSI works as a support. We also see the MACD is converging-ish, and when I say ish, because it truly hasn't happened yet, but the bottom line is that oscillators are starting to lose momentum, and that will inevitably allow for the MACD to converge. Okay, and as you can kind of see, whenever there's a divergence, the price goes down. When there's a convergence, the price goes up. Right. So those are common themes that you can see in trading, and that's where the MACD kind of helps you kind of get gauge on where those 12 and the 26-day exponential moving averages are intersecting in an upward fashion. That's a convergence. That's what you look for. All right, so taking a look here, of course, yesterday we saw the nice green candle. Prior to that, I called out a potential breakdown based on this being a bearish type of pennant pattern. And of course, the price action continued lower, but it recovered quite nicely based on the news. So you got to keep in mind, fundamentals are a big part of this. All right, so this coin's always going to be subject to that when these burns happen. So you just got to kind of be mindful and kind of be ready. I would say that if you are day trading this coin, you want to be very cautious because pumps and dumps do tend to happen a lot more frequently with the amount of volume being so large and the cost of the coin being so low, right? So again, there's a lot of different thought processes there, but that's generally just something to kind of think about. Moving averages, we're looking pretty decent here. We're potentially bouncing off the 50 and underneath the 200 tentatively. So I'd like to be back up over the 200, honestly. So if we can bounce here at this support level, would be fantastic. It does seem more likely to do that, but again, we have to recognize that there's going to be some profits being taken. Okay, and that's just going to be that slow bleed down. So there is potential for the price to continue lower if we lose the support level. Okay, so we want to kind of pay attention to what happens with that. Good news is the price is still over 50 on the RSI on the 4 hour. That's fantastic. And of course, we are losing momentum on the 4 hour here. obviously, based on that push being so hard. So we could actually see a divergence here. But what I'm hoping for is if the price were to bounce, then we'll just see this kind of do one of these and it continues higher. So all in all, that would be a good thing if we saw that happen. Taking a look at the 1 hour, let's go ahead and just quickly summarize here where we're at and call it a day. We're looking at the Ichimoku cloud. We're still above the cloud, which is fantastic, but you got to keep in mind lagging spans intersect with the price action and conversion lines below the baseline now. Pretty much just tells us that we've lost momentum, which is obvious. It also implies that the price action is likely, you likely want to take some profits, okay? So consider taking some profits on this coin here at this point because the price action could definitely bounce back and recover soon. All right, so again, in that sense, just big picture, what we're looking at here is the cloud is telling us that it wants to continue lower and continue to test this support level here, okay? But as we can see, the upper lead and the lower lead are still below the current price action. So even if the price travels into this area, we still have a lower lead slash current extra support level right there at about 25,500 that could very well hold us in the game, okay? So again, the rule of the Ichimoku cloud is if the price action travels into the cloud, you don't want to consider buying. It's a no buy zone. Okay, so I'm not telling you to take a position right now, but I can tell you that statistically speaking, there's more likelihood for the price to continue higher than lower at this exact time based on the simple fact that we have a lot of positive factors, more contributing factors than negative. All right. And again, when you're trading, it's pretty much all you're looking for. You're looking for signs and patterns that help you kind of identify a direction. And it's really just a statistical probability, right? I would say this has a 60-70% chance probability of continuing higher from here. And if it doesn't, obviously, that other percentage will win and it'll continue lower. We have some nice support levels and some good stuff going on. Very last thing to summarize would be TD sequential here. And obviously we came up to a 7, got that little reset. The price has been jumping up and down between 4s and 5s. And we can see a 7 here recently as well to the bottom. So that doesn't tell us a tremendous amount, but it does tell us that, hey, we came up to a 7 here previously and got stopped out, and we came down to a 7 here now. Is there a potential for a bounce? Again, slightly higher probability based on those things. All right, so that's pretty much everything I like to look for when I analyze a coin like this, because in truth, this coin can do anything that it wants to, all right? Now, shooting up to $1 in the near future is pretty low probability. You do all the math and everything, even with all the burns over the next few years, it's going to take quite a long time to get there. So please recognize that this is more of a long-term investment if you're considering investing in it. But if you are day trading, I recommend, again, just waiting for confirmation and ensuring that we maintain this support level before it increases. And to me, confirmation is finding a price point that is moving in the direction you want it to head. Right now, it's moving down, and we got to recognize the fact that it could go lower, regardless of these support levels. If it does go lower, we're ready for it, we're prepared. If it continues higher, it's all well and good too, right? So again, a lot of different schools of thought, but to me, I just recommend being very cautious and careful and respect this coin. More importantly, respect leverage if you are leveraging. It's something I teach my community members in my university as well, is just that, when you use leverage, you're amplifying the effects, and liquidation is quite high. So the probability of getting liquidated is very, very high if you're using a large position size. So always use small position sizing when you are effectively doing that. I know it's tough when you have a small portfolio in general, but you have to build up to it, right? So just celebrate the small wins. If you want to see all the small wins that we've been having as a community, go ahead and check that out. I actually made a video last night summarizing our last week's performance, so you can identify kind of what that looks like. But again, really awesome stuff. Super happy for my community. You guys are doing fantastic recently, and we're absolutely thriving in a bear market. It's a fantastic situation, so be sure to check that out in your own time. Once again, cryptocash.tech is a site where you can register. Otherwise, obviously, feel free to join me and follow me on social media. Everything is all in the link in the description below. I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care.